What's up, guys? Solo here. I'm actually doing this live on stream, so I've already said hi to everyone in chat, so now this is awkward. Oh well, if you were here, you would know first what my dumb opinions are, so go ahead and follow me on Twitch if you want. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. You can just go over there and catch stuff like this live. But let's get into it. Now, we are in a really weird part of the meta, right? We are finally back from quarantine, at least in some capacity. Some areas aren't. There's talk of maybe going back into quarantine. It all sucks, right? But we finally have been able to see some 8.0, post 8.0 Ike in action and see how he interacts with some of the DLC characters. So I thought it might be really cool to do a new Ike matchup chart, because I think a lot of things have changed. Not only that, my opinion on a lot of things have changed. Going from online, where Ike is kind of a monster, to offline has definitely changed a few of my opinions, and I'm interested in seeing how this might go. Chat in the bottom left corner is telling you guys off on YouTube, dude. The high YouTubes are coming out. Anyway, let's get into it. So starting off, this is going to be... we're starting off strong here. This is going to be a bit of a hot take. I actually think we lose to Bayo. Bayo, a character who generally struggles to approach a ton of characters. However, she has amazing anti-airs. Anti-air is something Ike struggles against. He loves to jump. And on top of that, Ike's really pitiful out of shield. Means that Bayo's short hop ABK, she can is actually a viable approach option. It's safe on Ike's shield. Ike doesn't really have the speed to chase down her landings, and she just kind of gets away with a lot in this matchup. Bad Bayos are very easy to beat because they're literally just going to heal slide your shield and you're going to get a free up B. But good Bayos who know what they're doing, they know how to approach safely, they know how to combo you, are going to make your life kind of difficult. She's really, really good at gimping Ike, getting him off stage, and since Ike is a big body with a bad air dodge, it is very easy to combo him really, really hard. Solo, you're a Diddy main now. Get this Ike garbage out of here. Maybe I will do an maybe I'll do a Diddy one after. We'll see. By the way, for those of you who want to know how this system works, we have +2, which is just going to be normal winning. I'm not really going to differentiate between we body them and we beat them. You know, it's like we have slight win and we have win. We have slight loss and we have loss. And I put Bayo in slight loss. I think that's true. I don't think she's one of our worst matchups, but I think we definitely lose to her. Captain Falcon is a hard one to say. It's either slight losing or even. He's very fast and, you know, he can deal a lot of Ike stuff really well. His down air is really good against Ike's recovery. His down tilt destroys quick draw. However, we do have the range to keep him out. We combo him really hard. We can edge guard him. There's all sorts of things going both ways in this matchup. If I think anything, it's probably slightly losing, but I feel in my heart that it's even, so that's where I'm going to put it. Chrom, I used to think was even, but the more and more I play offline post 8.0, the more I feel this might be a slight loss, mainly because Chrom is fast, he can contest our range. His recovery, while exploitable, is not that exploitable to Ike. Ike actually kind of struggles because there's ways around counter, and you have to like do a full hop down air or something to get him, which can work, but it's just not as consistent as I once thought it was. And Chrom's amazing speed and ability to catch landings and kill super early all can be a little bit hard for Ike to deal with. So I'm going to put that in the -1 category. Yo, by the way, you have a new player in your region, Nanwar. He came from my region, used to play Bayo. Yeah, I know him pretty well by now, Scal. We've been to a few locals together. He actually beat me a couple weeks ago, and then I beat him last week. So interesting history there. Cool guy. He's coming over to my house tomorrow, actually. All right. Next up, we have Cloud. I feel like this is a dead even matchup. Cloud is faster and he has limit, but Ike is a little more consistent about killing Cloud. Eruption and down air kind of mess up Cloud's recovery if you can get him off in a bad position. A lot of Ike's moves kind of send it an angle that's not great for Cloud. Ike gets pretty good reward out of parrying. He can do parry down tilt stuff. And I think Cloud, we have similar game plans, we function similarly, and I think as a result, it's a pretty even matchup. If anything, it's probably slight loss because he is faster and he does have safer frame data, but I think we definitely have the tools to answer to Cloud. And I've been working on a Diddy lately, but I'm probably going to play Cloud for this matchup for the foreseeable future. Next up, why is Daisy here but Peach isn't? Is it like 100% in alphabetical order? I think it is. So we'll skip her. King DDD is winning for Ike. It's not like +2 winning because DDD has some tricks, but we do have ways to deal with Gordo well, and we can stay away from him pretty well. It's a really scary matchup once we're on the ledge. DDD's ledge trapping is amazing. and his advantage state is actually very good against Ike, but we definitely win neutral. Our big sword means that we can whack back Gordos without too much trouble. Again, quick draw deals with Gordos well because it auto spaces against them, and we combo him like crazy, and we ledge trap him like crazy. So yeah, I think this is definitely a +1 for Ike. Diddy Kong is definitely a losing matchup for us. It's kind of controversial for me to say that, right? Some people think that we do fine against Diddy because we have range, but I think more and more as people are realizing how good Diddy is, especially with you recommend using that website for T-list making. I'll look into it next time, Raven King, but I think since I've already been going, I'm going to stick with this one for now. I kind of like the icons on this, so it works pretty well. But yeah, I think Diddy's really hard if they know what they're doing. They can catch our landings. Nair is -5, and his up smash is frame 5, so unless you're perfect and not stale, you're not going to be safe against his up smash, so it's hard to jump around. He has amazing anti-airs with forward air and up smash. Banana kind of destroys us. I think Diddy definitely has a winning matchup here, and it's minus for us, which is good for me because I play Diddy. Next up, DK. DK is a struggle, dude, but we definitely win it. It's one of those matchups where if both players are mid-level players and they're even skill, I think, did I say Diddy? Donkey Kong? DK, no, I said DK, that's fine. DK is going to win every time if they're both mid-level players, but the closer and closer you get to top level, the more and more Ike's better neutral tools, ability to edge guard, ability to ledge trap, DK kind of comes to the fore, and you see DK's flaws more and more. DK has some amazing cheese, though, and it works amazingly well on Ike, so it's very close to even, but I do think Ike slight beats DK. It's just kind of hard. Duck Hunt, we are lucky to beat Duck Hunt because this is a struggle for a lot of characters. It's a struggle for Ike. It's not hard winning. There's definitely some things that are difficult about it, but Quick Draw keeps us in the game way longer than a lot of characters. And on top of that, our big sword means that we can sort of knock away a lot of his pressure. We can knock can back at him, etc. And dash attack in the corner. Basically, we don't die till 180 in this matchup, and Duck Hunt dies at 70 to dash attack in the corner when he's trying to set up his can. So as a result, I think overall, Duck Hunt has to work way harder than Ike, and we have a slight advantage. Yo, what's up, Garson? He's bigger, faster, and stronger too. That's true. Falco is, I think, a dead even matchup. Falco has a lot of really good anti-air tools. He has an amazing combo game that works very well on Ike, but Quick Draw buys us a lot of time in this matchup. There's a lot of like we can survive for a lot more interactions than a lot of characters because we're heavy and we have Quick Draw. Plus, Falco does not have the best shield pressure, so he can't just like come up and mash on us like a lot of fast combo characters can. Up yet a shield is not bad against Falco. It depends on the move, but it'll work on Falcos who like to spam up tilt on your shield. Down tilt combos work well, and then Eruption works really well when he's off stage as well as down air. A really easy character to edge guard. You only have to win neutral a couple times, and he has to win neutral quite a bit. So I'd say it's even because all of Falco's stuff works amazingly well on us, and all of our stuff works amazingly well on Falco. And as a result, we end up with an even matchup. You think Falco is sleeper broken? I think he's good. You hadn't seen my... Oh, you're talking about Achilles, yeah. Yeah, Achilles, you can just sort of feel his energy, no matter what his username is. Game & Watch is winning for Ike. I think this matchup is nowhere near as... You know what, I'm going to put it in +1. I don't think it's nowhere near as polarizing as Game & Watch mains seem to think. Short Hop Nair actually shuts Ike down really hard. Game & Watch's Nair is huge, and that anti-air is super well and can be comboed off of. He has pretty good ledge options to keep Ike out. However, Ike does win neutral, having a big old sword, being able to avoid the range of up yet a shield, being able to up air key, that's kind of a big deal. Means that a lot of Game & Watch's normal game plan does not work too well on Ike. However, I do think there are ways around it that Game & Watch mains just need to learn, and I really don't think it's a +2 or anything. But we definitely beat him. It's definitely a winning matchup, so nothing too hot there in terms of takes. Fox is hard. It's either 0 or -1, but I think at top level it's probably -1. We're a pretty easy character to parry. We're a pretty easy character to rush down. We do get more tries than your average heavy with Quick Draw. Quick Draw kind of brings us back to stage for free a lot of the times in this matchup. I'm actually going to move it to even because of how well we deal with his recovery. It's kind of similar to Falco, except Fox has really good options to pressure our shield, but he's also easier to edge guard than Falco. It's easier to hit him with Eruption, and he's very, very light. However, he is a fast faller, and he falls out of ether all the time, which is really, really annoying. However, it's even, maybe slight losing, if anything, so I'm going to put it at the bottom of even. We definitely beat Ganon. It's probably +2. With drop down reverse ether, this matchup actually became a lot easier. However, oh yeah, and down tilt combos work. Just everything works well. It's Ganon. I mean, I don't really have to talk about why we beat Ganon too much, right? He does have good anti-airs. He can be absolutely terrifying when he's on point, but I do think we have the tools to beat Ganon because we just have better frame data. Well, not really better frame data, but we have range. We're a little bit faster than him. One of the few characters we actually outspeed, which means that we can use our sword to our advantage and keep him out. Greninja is probably going to be slight loss. It is impossible to land against this character. He has the speed to make it so that quick draw back to stage is not really a viable option. His up smash on platforms makes it so that we can't really recover to platforms well. There's all sorts of reasons why I see Greninja as winning this matchup, but it's not by a huge margin. We definitely have some tools. His weak out of shield game means that we get to pressure him for free, but Greninja should be more focused on whiff punishing than he should ever really be focused on out of shielding Ike. That's not really his goal. So while it does sort of limit his neutral, it does make him... while it does sort of limit his neutral, it does make it... What am I saying? Well, the fact that he can't out of shield us does sort of limit his neutral. The things he's limited to still work really well against Ike, so, you know, that there's always that. And I think it's a little bit of a struggle. Ice Climbers is a pretty easy matchup for Ike. They have some kind of tech that can make it easy, and it's like Luigi, where if we get touched, we die, which is terrifying. But we should never get touched. We just have what it takes to keep them out. It's pretty easy to kill Nana by accident. Like, if you do a Nair F smash, a lot of times they'll air dodge, and Popo will air dodge a few frames earlier than Nana, and Nana will just die at 40. There's all sorts of little things that make it so that having a big disjoint messes really hard with Ice Climbers, because you're always going to hit one of them generally, and it's pretty good. So I'm definitely going to put that in +2. One of our easier matchups. Same thing with Incineroar. He's so slow on the ground, just like Ganon. Honestly, they're really similar matchups. Also, Eruption is an amazing tool against Incineroar off stage. His recovery is pretty reactable and predictable, so being able to Eruption it for free is really, really nice. And that's one of the main ways I kill this character. We really only have to win neutral a couple times, and then you just Eruption him off stage because of how linear his recovery is. And we also just outrange him and have a huge sword. So as long as you play good neutral, Incineroar shouldn't be too much of a problem. Inkling is even, maybe slight losing. A good thing about Inkling is you can platform camp this character. It is not a fun matchup to play by any means. Yo, what's up, Hungry Door? Yeah, it's just not a fun matchup by any means. I mean, Inkling is just super, super annoying to fight. You have to avoid the crap out of Roller, and they have amazing frame data, and they're really hard to hit. However, platform camping takes this up to around an even matchup, and I'm going to put it there in even. Yo, Preston, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. I do think this is harder than it is easy, though. So, you know, if anything, it's losing, but I think it's close enough to even. Next up, we have Corin. Corin functions really similarly to Ike, but she has slightly better frame data. She also, though, has a little bit of trouble killing. We can edgeguard Corin pretty well with Eruption, with down air. We can actually do drop-off counters sometimes if she's forced pretty far out. However, I do think Corin has a slightly superior neutral to Ike with her spaced back airs and her slightly faster frame data and her superior out-of-shield options. Yo, be kind with the sub. Thank you for dropping that prime on me. 15 months, dude. That's a long time. So yeah, I think Corin is actually even for us. I don't really see a reason why we hard beat her. And her back air just is so good at sniping our recovery as well. Yoshi, thank you for the follow. Next up, we have Ken. This is one of the hardest matchups we got, dude. This used to be a hot take, and I think more and more Ike mains are coming around to the fact that Focus just destroys our advantage state. We literally cannot play advantage state against Ken. Ken has an option that destroys any hits we do trying to juggle him and can be canceled out of frame 1. So how do you keep advantage against this character? He's also heavy, kind of hard to edge guard for Ike, and he kills us at 90. So pretty much everything about that is terrible. He also has an amazing parry punish game, and we're pretty easy to parry. Garson, thank you so much for the prime as well, dude. You grab Ken and he suffers? How? You do down throw up air, and then what? You can't juggle him. You get to hold that 25, and that's it. Which is nice, I guess. Kirby, we outrange super hard. He has no air mobility. We can edge guard him. Neutral is almost impossible for Kirby. This is one of our best matchups, so I'm just going to stick that in +2. There's not that much to say that hasn't been said already. He can be a little bit annoying with how good his punish game is, and his up B out of shield can actually do a pretty good job of keeping us at bay, but overall, like, we're just going to kill Kirby so much earlier, and our neutral wins, so it's just easy. Bowser. All right, another hot take. I think Bowser is awful for Ike, dude. It's so bad. Like, I know that this... Can you up B focused? You cannot, no. I think Bowser is one of the hardest matchups we've got. His giant hitboxes, he doesn't die. He's way, way faster than us. He kills us way earlier. He's actually... If the Bowser main actually knows how to recover well, it is incredibly hard to edgeguard this character. I know a lot of people are going to think this is a dumb take, but I'm just saying almost none of you guys have ever played a really good Bowser, okay? A really good Bowser who knows how to counterplay Ike is rare. There's only a few of them in the world. And until you've played one of them, it is absolutely Snore's influence, Garson. Until you've played one of them, you do not understand how hard this matchup is, because it is very, very hard. How much does Bowser's heavy armor come into play with Ike? A lot, actually, because if you ether to recover, he can F-smash it and kill you at 0. You patient him out. How do you patient out a character who's faster than you and has better hitboxes and a frame 6 command grab? I don't understand. You beating Leon has no influence? I don't think Leon knew, like, no offense to you. I think you're an amazing player. Maybe I need to go watch that set. I'll go watch that set, and then maybe I'll change my mind. We'll see. But, I'm not convinced that Leon knew how to fight like a really good Ike. Who knows? Like, it's hard to get practice against Ikes as good as you, Raven King, because there's like one other Ike as good as you. So, you know, and it's pretty easy to get practice against Bowser's. Yez also beat Leon. I think Yez is better than Leon. I don't know. And again, that just sort of, I do think Leon doesn't know how to fight against Ike. Bowser just takes the ether to the face to KO us. Yes, it's terrible. I hate it. He literally armors through ether and just F smashes us at 10%. It's terrible. All right. Bowser Jr., I have no idea. Like, we might lose to this character, and I wouldn't know. Every Bowser Jr. I've fought actually felt kind of difficult, if I'm being honest, but it's really hard to say because I don't know the matchup. Who knows that matchup? So I'm going to put it in 0 for now. I think Bowser Jr. has some good tools against us. One thing that's annoying about this matchup is if you hit Bowser Jr., he takes extra knockback. So he goes higher, right? And then when he's above you, you end up hitting the cart, which takes less knockback, and so he doesn't go anywhere. And so it's like really hard to confirm Nair up air for the kill. Every time I play against Bowser Jr., he just lives to 160, and I don't really know how to solve that problem. Again, though, it's not a matchup I know that well. There's only one decent Bowser Jr. that I've ever played against, so it's hard to say. But in my opinion, Bowser Jr. is probably around even. King K. Rool, that's a winning matchup, but it's not free by any means. I find K. Rool to be kind of annoying to fight. He has really good hitboxes, his armor can come into play, and he has a really good counter, which makes it kind of hard to recover sometimes. However, we definitely have the range advantage. We combo him to hell. It's definitely a doable matchup that I think we win. I just think that K. Rool is a little bit underrated in today's meta, and I think he definitely is not as free as a lot of people think he is. Link, I think, is literally the definition of an even matchup. He's slow like we are. He has really good aerials like we do, but we outrange most of his pressure. He doesn't really have an easy way to pressure Ike's shield, or to pressure Ike, because Ike doesn't really want to be shielding much in this matchup, and Link likes to jump in with Nair and force shields, and I just feel like our range differential, he has better buttons than Ike does, but Ike has bigger range, and I think those two things end up balancing out to a rather even matchup. And I actually think it's a pretty fun matchup, too. It's also possible to edgeguard Link pretty well, which is nice. Next up, we have Little Mac. This one's kind of weird. I mean, we beat Mac. Do we? Yeah, we definitely beat Mac, but, like, we only beat Mac on stages with platforms. We actually lose to Mac on FD. But in the way the current stage list exists, you'll never have to play FD. You'll always have at least one platform. And once you have that platform, you can just platform camp him. You have to be amazingly patient against Mac. I think this is actually one of Mac's better matchups. He doesn't win. I don't think he wins any matchups in the whole game, does he? Like Ganon, maybe? But I do think that overall we do beat the character. Ban Triplats in town, got it. Yes, absolutely. Well, no. Ban FD, Kalos, and town. Those are the ones you should ban. Mac beats Plant. Does he really? That's interesting. I would have never known. I guess he can armor the ball, right? And just F smash through it. Is that like a factor? That's just a guess. Lucario is a character we definitely beat. This character has some struggles in this matchup, dude. Lucario is a character who likes to sort of ramp up little bits of damage here and there, and then once he gets Aura, he goes to town. But since Ike kills him on average at like 80 or 90, he doesn't really get to play with Aura all that much. Aura Lucario is horrible for Ike. Aura Lucario is terrifying, but it's just not that big of a factor because he just gets it so rarely. I mean, he'll get to like half Aura and then he'll die, which is kind of rough. And we outrange him super hard. Just not a very well-designed character, in my opinion. But he's terrifying once he gets Aura. I mean, Lucario always can do it. It's just he's a really frustrating character to play as, I'm sure. I think Lucas is either even or losing. Lucas has some amazing tools to gimp us, and he has some really good out of shield options, which make it kind of hard for us to pressure him. However, we do outrange him pretty hard. We have the... I think he's better against Ike than Ness by a pretty big margin, mainly because he has a tether, which means that we don't get to like Ness, you can eruption or down air pretty freely, or you can go off and counter the PK Thunder, right? Lucas can just tether, and we can't do anything about it. So he gets to recover much more consistently than Ness. Plus, we have more range than him. So it's doable. Ness has really good range, though, and his up B just destroys Ike off stage. So it's kind of a difficult even, but I do think it's probably even. I am inclined to move it close to -1, though. I think it's really hard. Mario is losing for Ike. Probably. We outrange him, but it's like Fox, kind of, except we can't edge guard him as freely as we can edge guard Fox. Mario is incredibly fast. He has really good combos, and Ike is absolutely, like, I know combo food is kind of a meme at this point, but yeah, it's kind of difficult to get at a disadvantage against this character. He has really safe pokes, really good anti-air, really good kill power. He has Flood to make our recovery a little bit more difficult. There's ways around Flood. Flood is not a game ender. This is not a -2 matchup, but I do think we slight lose because of all of these factors combined. Luigi we beat, but it's not easy. It's like Mac. It's the same as Mac, dude. Don't get grabbed. Stay on a platform. But the thing is, like, Luigi does have some ways around it. He's like got a really good back air to hit you on the platform. He's got his invincible down B, but if you stay on that platform and you hard commit to camping him out, it's very doable, and I think we do win. Obviously, the 0 to death is a factor. Ike actually... Did you guys know that Ike actually survives the 0 to death at 0? Yeah, he has to take like 5 to 10% for it to be a kill on him. And I actually, at a major, I played a Luigi, and he got the 0 to death on me. It didn't kill me, and he went, "What?" And then I came back and I killed him, and I won the set. That was one of my favorite memories in Smash. You're talking about Flood for stage control for Mario? Yeah, that's pretty good. On all stages, I mean, we'd probably die on Yoshi's, right? Like, there's some examples. But for me, it was on Smashville, and I survived. Lucina's hard for Ike. It's the same as Chrom in a lot of ways, where she just kind of outranges us. She has all the tools to deal with our recovery. She doesn't outrange us, but she competes with us in range, right, while having better frame data and being much, much faster. I think that this is a pretty difficult matchup for us. It's not as bad as I used to think, but it's also not even like I was convinced for a little while. And I do think this is a losing matchup by a little bit. Ike generally is going to lose to sorties who are faster than him, right? Because they take his greatest strength and they turn it around and they kind of invalidate it while having other strengths against him. So yeah, I do think we slight lose to Lucina. Marth, however, can't do it, dude. Marth is probably an even matchup because we like to play at his max sword range, and that's what Marth likes, right? However, I will find myself just living forever against Marth, and I don't find that happening against Lucina. She's just way more consistent at killing us. Doc is definitely winning for us. It's between +2 and +1. He has a lot of the same strengths as Mario, but he's very slow, so his cheese is better than Mario's, and a lot of his cheese works on Ike, and he has good anti-airs, and his up out shield is really annoying in this matchup. But his bad recovery and lack of range means that I do think we definitely win. I don't think it quite is +2, though. What's up, Palu? I'm just going to leave it at like the top of +1. Meta Knight we beat. There's not much to say about this character, and I don't know the matchup that well. Meta Knight has some really good cheese against Ike, and his 0 deaths can work really well on us. However, we do win neutral just from outranging him really hard and killing him earlier than he kills us on average. So it's pretty much what it comes down to. It's not free, but we win. Mewtwo is also +1 for Ike. Mewtwo is like a scary character to fight. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot of really good tools. His fair is really strong. His nair is a really good tool for taking control of the stage. However, he is very light. Ike kills him super early, and he has a massive hitbox, which means we can juggle him really effectively, and we can kill him very early. So, kind of hard for Mewtwo to win this matchup. Even though I do think if you're a Mewtwo main, there's no reason not to play this matchup. Like, I don't think it's so bad Mewtwo can't even do it. I just think Ike does have a slight advantage. Brawler, I think, is a slight loss for Ike. For all the same reasons we lose to Mario. And on top of that, Brawler being a fast follower means that Ike's up B out of shield just doesn't work on him. Like, I feel like it's the hardest against on him in the entire game. It just doesn't work. We up B and he just falls out. Like 99% of the times. Go watch my set with Wario where he washed me, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Either just does not work in this matchup, and so he just gets to mash on our shield for free, and it's really, really frustrating, and he's very hard to kill. If he takes the right move setup, I do think Brawler can beat Ike. I think he has a winning matchup. Sword Fighter is even or maybe slight Ike. I find this matchup really annoying. It's hard to get in on this character. And I very much don't enjoy it, but I think offline it's a lot easier than online. And I think Sword Fighter has a pretty linear game plan, and we can actually DI out of down throw up air. So I think we have an advantage with a slightly longer sword and more consistent kill options. Gunner is hard. I don't actually know if we win this matchup or not. I'm just going to put it in even for now because this character just is a lot like Samus, and we're even with Samus. So I guess that's my logic. But again, this is not a matchup I know a lot about. Villager is a character we beat, fortunately. It's not a bodying, and Villager has some tools to beat us, but it's a lot like Duck Hunt, where we have a lot of tools that kill him very early, that can box him out, and if we play at a mid-range and we don't get destroyed too hard by Slingshot, and we stay grounded when we need to, and just do not approach tree. If Villager has tree out, stay away. I do not care if the timer's about to end. Do not approach tree. It is a bad idea. And if you keep all that in mind, I think Villager's a very winnable matchup. You think Gunner is losing? It might be. I don't have enough information. Oh, Visceral used to be Clang? Yo, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Alright, Ness. Ness is only very slightly winning in my eyes. Ness mains love to complain about this matchup, But a lot like Game & Watch, their better frame data and really big hitboxes, as well as having a zoning tool, makes this a very doable matchup for Ness. But we do outrange them in neutral. We kill them at a reasonable percent, and we do have the ability to edgeguard them pretty well with neutral B or runoff counter, etc. So I do think we beat Ness. I do not find it easy, though. I hate fighting that character. Pac-Man, another slight win. I think that, and I'm really happy about it, I think Ike outranges him pretty hard. Go watch Yez versus Pink Fresh. Or no, not Pink Fresh. Yez versus Lade Fitness if you want to see how to play this matchup. You just got to weave in and out of his Hydrant, use Hydrant against him well, and make sure, again, you're playing outside of his mash range. Because outside of his projectiles, Pac-Man's a pretty stubby character. And I think that as long as we keep that in mind and we don't fall for a lot of the traps he has. I mean, in a lot of ways, Pac-Man is just Proto-Steve, right? No, Raptor. That's not the point. Oh, man. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Pac-Man is just Steve before Steve came around. We're still learning on the Steve setups, and so Steve is harder than he has to be right now. We've already learned a lot of the Pac-Man setups, and so we can deal with this character pretty well. Having a big disjoint helps a lot. Palu is still terrible for all the reasons it's always been terrible. She's amazing at anti-airing. She has a lot of invulnerable moves. She can edge guard us better than almost any character in the game. We just can't play our normal neutral at all against her. We have to play like a really safe whiff punishy way to even have a chance against Palu. And because she's so much faster than us and she has projectiles to force us to approach, there's just nothing going for us in this matchup. It's possible, but it's hard. You just realize there are no DLC characters on here? Yeah, there are. Kazuya. Yeah, I just haven't scrolled down yet. They're here. Don't worry about it. So yeah, Palu's really hard. Peach is even. Peach has a ton of tools to deal with us, but we do have superior range. And we do kill her a lot earlier than she kills us. However, she has a counter. She has some really good big hitboxes. She has a really strong out of shield game. She has really strong turnip pulls, etc. But having better range than her and good kill power definitely is a factor here, and I think we can deal with Peach pretty well. Pichu used to be really, really hard for us pre-patch, but I think post-patch, this character just suffers a lot in this matchup. I think both patches made this harder for Pichu. Both the Pichu nerfs and the Ike changes made the matchup harder for Pichu. We just kill him stupid early now. I mean, Nair up air kills him at like 60 or 70. It's really, really hard. And while I do think Pichu can do it, Pichu has to play way, way better than Ike to make it work. And as a result, I think Ike wins the matchup. Go back in the VOD or wait for YouTube and you can see my reasoning on Bowser, Dugnut. But I think Bowser's really, really hard for Ike. Pikachu is even. I like to troll people by saying we win it because Ike does better than almost any character in his tier area. And he does better than most sorties. But Pikachu's really, really good. T-Jolt's really good at walling us out. His aerials are really, really strong. Ike could fall for some cheese. Quick Draw, however, does bail us out of a lot of really bad situations, and our superior range and ability to cover the area below and in front of us. The ability to cover the area below and in front of us means that we can catch his approaches pretty well. And that's another character you might want to consider platform camping. Same with Pichu. Next up, we have Olimar. Kind of similar to Pichu in that Olimar has a lot of the tools that he needs to beat us. However, we just kill him stupid early. We kill him stupid early. We can weave in and out of his pressure pretty well. It really all depends on Olimar's lineup, because once he gets double purple, it's over for us. I mean, the matchup gets really, really hard when he has double purple. Like, it literally becomes losing. But up until that point, I think we definitely have the tools to beat him. And our superior range is a huge factor. I find Pit to be kind of hard. I am very inclined to put Pit in minus... In fact, there it is. Pit is in -1. Pit has amazing aerials that are really, really good at boxing out Ike. He's really good at edge guarding. He has multiple jumps, so we can't edge guard him. He can mix up his recovery, so Eruption doesn't work. Down air isn't consistent. He doesn't have anything easily edge guardable. The thing we have going for us against Pit is that he has trouble killing us, right? Pit does not have consistent ways to kill confirm Ike easily. However, his superior combo game, his superior combo game, his really good anti-air tools, his really good recovery, his multiple jumps, like these all just work pretty hard against Ike, and they also buffed his kill power, which makes him pretty good. On top of this, Orbitar is actually really annoying for Ike, basically in the same way that Focus is. It's like a much worse Focus, you know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Polar Bear? Ike dittos, Ike wins, +5. Polar Bear, I think I'm going to see you this weekend at the Asheville Summit, so that'll be cool. Pokemon Trainer, I think, is in -1 territory. It's not awful. We definitely have the tools to do it. But we definitely slightly lose to Squirtle. It's a lot like Pikachu, but I think Squirtle has more tools that are bad for Ike. So Ivysaur is pretty even. Yeah, I mean, Ivysaur just wants to catch jumping. There's just a ton of cheese that PT has that works really well on us. We slightly beat Charizard. We're even with Ivysaur, and we slightly lose to Squirtle. So, like, you'd think it would be even, right? Except for the fact that PT gets to choose what character they play, right? Wow, Preston just said exactly what I said. That's interesting. So because it seems even, they win. Because they get to choose what character they play. Like, we can't choose their character for them. So PT gets a slight win. We body Puff. Actually, Puff is harder than Kirby, but we definitely win. Puff has like all sorts of really good cheese that works on us, and his really good air drift means that Puff has a lot more tools to deal with Ike than Kirby does. Base Mage has showed me that this is definitely doable for Puff. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna move it down to -1 or +1. We definitely win, but Puff's gimmicks work pretty well on Ike. Puff's crazy combos work very well on Ike. And if Puff can find the neutral win with a well-placed pound or fair, they can edge guard us. They can do all sorts of things that make this maybe not quite as easy as was once thought, but we still definitely win. What do I think of Pither vs. Ike? We'll get there. Yo, Eons, thank you for the follow. All right. Next up, we have Robin. I find Robin to be pretty damn hard for Ike. This character has really good projectiles, is really good at forcing Ike to jump, right? And since Robin is really good at forcing Ike to jump and has amazing anti-airs, air-to-airs, I think I find this matchup to be really, really hard. That being said, it's not -2 or anything, and there are things I can do, like we can edge guard this character. They do have the problem of having losing matchups. You know, there's all sorts of reasons. Or, no, they do have the problem of being edge guardable, sorry. And running out of resources. But I think Robin's kind of hard for us. You got to make sure that I don't have the crustiest Diddy in the land. Dude, I've been working so hard on Diddy. I've been playing him for like many hours a day. It's been coming along, dude. He's really fun. I've been afraid to stream, dude, because I've only been playing Diddy. That's not true. That's not why I haven't been streaming. But I have been very focused on work and getting good at him and YouTube. So the Diddy will make a debut sometime soon. I'm trying to do like one viewer battle stream a week. So I don't think I'm going to go back to the daily streams that I was doing before because work really picked up, and also I really want to focus on YouTube right now. But I was thinking maybe one viewer battle stream a week. I think that would be good, just to keep things consistent. You get discouraged playing Ike because that character is bad. He's bad in a lot of ways, but he's good in some ways too. All right, someone needs to get Steamy Noodle's attention. He said to at him when Belmont's come up, but I'm busy, dude. I think Belmont's is even. This matchup's really hard. It might even be -1. Because we just don't really have an easy way to get in on Belmont's. Like, we have to just make him uncomfortable and hope he screws up. You know what I mean? Am I going to play Ike or Diddy at this upcoming tournament? I'll probably play both. It depends on what characters I play against. I think Diddy's up to the point where I don't think I can go all Diddy and do as well as I do with all Ike, but I do think my Diddy's good enough that I can use him as a counterpick character now, which makes me happy. Is Steamy already in chat? He is not. I meant add him on Twitter or something, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, Belmonts are pretty hard, but I think they're even. I mean, we kill them pretty consistently, but neutral is very hard against this character. However, Raven King being able to do okay against Dom gives me hope. Ridley's also an even matchup. Ridley has a lot of really good cheese that works very well on us, and also some very good anti-airs and some strong ground game. However, he's a big body that we combo really easily, and because he's kind of light and big, we kill him very easily. Our combos work really well on him. We can ledge trap him pretty consistently. Can't touch his recovery, though. We can't eruption him consistently. We can't down air him without maybe getting cheesed, but we are able to ledge trap him and outrange him in neutral very slightly, which can work for us. But it's not good enough for us to just, like, win, you know? It's pretty annoying. Also, he can gimp us off stage pretty easily. Rob is really, really hard for Ike. It gets easier if you parry nair and learn how to use gyro, but this character's cheese just works amazingly well on us. He can scum us out at any point in the game. He has way better frame data. His disjoints are just as good as ours. And yeah, while parrying nair helps a lot, it doesn't help turn a losing hard matchup into just a losing matchup. I find Rob to be really, really difficult. We get so bullied by gyro. I mean, there's just so many ways for Rob to jank us out. It's annoying. Oh, hey, Steamy. Yeah, I told them to at you because I was doing Belmonts. Mega Man is losing for Ike just slightly. It's not that bad, but I think Mega Man controls neutral really well with Leaf Shield and Lemons. We do have the tools to kind of get in neutral. I might be a little biased from having played Peebnut, who's one of the best Mega Mans in the world. Literally, almost all of my Mega Man experience comes from fighting Peebnut, and he's a better player than me. So there might be a little bit of bias here, but I find this matchup to be pretty damn difficult. He just pressures our shield for free and keeps us out really, really well, and it can just be very hard to get a foothold in this matchup. Rosalina we beat slightly because we have a pretty easy time killing Luma. She's pretty light, she's pretty easy to combo, and you can juggle her really well. So her recovery is kind of hard to contest, but being able to kill Luma easily is like a huge part of the matchup, and I think because of that we beat Rosalina. You disagree, but you can see even? I think it's one of our hardest even matchups. I think if anything, Belmonts might be -1 for Ike. I think it's closer to losing than it is to winning, but it's close enough to even that it goes in 0. Roy is very, very hard for Ike. This character is fast, kills us at 60, stuffs out all of our aerial approaches. Okay, so Ike generally has 2 things that make him good in a matchup, right? He kills earlier than his opponent, and he has more range than his opponent. That's not really true at all with Roy. He has competitive range with us. He's way, way faster, which means his burst range is better than ours. He destroys our recovery, and he has kill power that is on par with Ike's, if not better, and more consistent, way more consistent. Dude, down tilt back air and down tilt up air are never going to be as consistent as Roy's jab back air, Roy's jab side B. We just explode, dude. It's so hard. Literally, Roy is the reason I picked up Diddy. I literally picked up a whole character for this to try to beat this character. Roy is, I think, our hardest matchup. Thanks, Noodles. Noodles gonna go make some more noodles. Thanks for coming by. Samus is an even matchup. Samus is a character whose game plan works pretty well against Ike, but if we just play at that mid-range and make her uncomfortable, we'll live for a very long time, and Ike just generally does pretty well against characters who like to camp out in the corner because dash attack is an amazing burst option that kills really early in the corner, so we can make them fear camping out there, as long as you're careful to avoid her grab from the corner, as well as Samus's whole plan is to try to condition you to jump right. So if you just chill on the ground, use your dash shields well, get in, and then maybe spot dodge a grab, you can find openings against Samus and open them up. However, they do have some really good tools against Ike, and I think it's even. Low-key, I think people are starting to take away Kalos is hurting the matchup for Samus. Yeah, Ike versus Samus is incredibly stage-dependent. On Kalos, we hard lose, I feel like, because we just can't kill him. But on a smaller stage, we do pretty well. Show dog. Daisy. Daisy, come here, girl. They want to see you. It's been forever. Come here. Daisy, they missed you. The stream missed you, girl. Come here. Come up. Come up. Come here, sleepy baby. Come on up. You got it. You got it. There she is. There's my girl. Say hello, girl. Good baby. There we go. Dog has been shown. By the way, if you guys like the Solo Joe 2 Love emote that Cat made, you can subscribe and you get that along with it. And if you have Prime, you can actually get it for free. How are Falco and Fox even and not -1? I think Falco's easier. I think that I made a mistake with Fox. I think he's hard. Well, no, because we edgeguard him well. Sorry, I explained it all earlier. I don't want to rehash old points. But I think we just kill Fox stupid early and can edgeguard him well. Inkling's I already placed Inkling, didn't I? Yeah, and even. But like hard Inkling. I mean, hard even. I think Sheik is better than Fox against Ike. Because Sheik's recovery is much better than Fox's. And her needles give her an option that Fox doesn't have. So she fills the same archetype Fox does while being able to hold us out and edgeguard us. However, this is one of those weird matchups where I think we're like +2 on Sheik online and then slight losing against Sheik offline. So it's kind of weird like that. The character just requires some serious perfection to play. And you just cannot achieve that online. But offline it's possible. We beat Isabel, but it's not like... It's a lot like the Villager matchup. There's really not much to say. I mean, it's just the Villager matchup rehashed. I actually think it's easier than the Villager matchup because I don't think... well, no, that's not true because Fishing Rod gives her a tether grab, which is pretty good. Or a tether recovery. Yeah, I think the tether recovery makes it a little bit harder to edgeguard this character. But overall, neutral goes the same way, and her not having tree is definitely a factor, right? I think tree is good for timing Ike out and stalling it and forcing Ike to approach. Yo, X-Bomb, thank you for the follow. Shulk is pretty hard. It's not as bad as I once thought. I used to think this was one of our hardest matchups, but now that Ike doesn't rely on Nair up air to kill as much, I think Shulk is not as bad. We can parry and get punishes out of parrying him a lot. As long as we're really on point with our ledge trapping and edge guarding, and we are very, very careful while recovering, I think this matchup's doable. But Shulk definitely has an edge. There's also the fact that he can shield art in the middle of Ether, which means one of our kill options is kind of off the table. That can be pretty annoying as well. But I do think the matchup is easier than I once thought. I actually think we beat Snake. This is kind of a hot take, and it's basically even, if we're being honest. But I gotta have at least one hot take on my matchup chart, right? Ike has the range to sort of poke at Snake without necessarily hitting his grenades. We get a lot off of grab combos, and we can keep Snake in disadvantage really, really easily. If he tries to recover high, that basically creates a 50-50 where Snake dies if he guesses wrong, and we can just wait and react and make things hard for him. Down air at ledge destroys Cypher. Neutral B at ledge destroys Cypher. Nikita being a threat to Ike disadvantage. Nikita's pretty hard to challenge side B with. It's possible, but it's hard. So I think Ike has more ways around Nikita than most characters. So I don't really think Nikita is that big of a matchup is that big of a factor in the matchup. But yeah, Ike's advantage state is really, really good against Snake, and I think that's important. Sonic is even. Actually, no. I used to think Sonic was even, and I think online this matchup's even. But having played Wrath a little bit, I think this matchup is actually pretty hard. I think Sonic is a character that if he really commit to just never, ever approaching Ike except to whiff punish, there's just not much Ike can do. If the Sonic is trying to approach Ike, Ike does pretty well. Ike with a lead beats Sonic. But if Ike doesn't have a lead, this matchup feels impossible. It's really, really hard. Are there any characters that get destroyed by fully charged Eruption? It can be a niche edge guarding tool, but no. I mean, most characters have a way around that. ZSS is, I think, an even matchup. In reality, it might be slight losing, but we have the tools to keep her out. We have the kill power and the range to make things kind of hard for her. Be kind getting mad because I'm calling it even. But I think our aerials and our range make it hard for ZSS to approach, and dash attacking under her landing pressure can be really nice. Ever since her nerf, parrying ZSS's aerials actually became really, really good. And so I think if your parry game is on point, you can deal with ZSS pretty well. Is B reverse eruption good as a mix-up? No, it's not. I wish it was. That would be cool, but it's not. Toon Link is even. We do pretty good in this matchup. In terms of zoners, I think we do fine. I just think Ike has the tools to deal with zoners, but he doesn't really destroy many of them. You know what I mean? Toon Link, a character that we can get in on. He doesn't quite have the unpunishable projectiles that Young Link has, and we can edge guard him pretty well. We have tools to deal with Toon Link, but I do think his neutral can be pretty hard to get in on, and he can play very safe. It can be pretty hard to hit him in general. Eruption sucks in general. Yeah, I think there's some matchups where it's really, really good as a two-frame tool, but for the most part, it's our worst move. I do think Ikes don't use Eruption enough, though. I think there's some matchups where it is very relevant. Wario used to be really, really hard for us. That's not true. It used to be kind of hard. I think it used to be slight losing, and now it's even now that he got nerfed. It's a lot easier to play around Waft than it used to be, since he can't confirm literally anything off of it. However, this character is just terrifying. He has really good frame data, way better frame data than Ike. A pretty good recovery, especially when he has Bike. So we don't really have a consistent way to deal with him off stage. He gets to live for a very long time. Our lack of free and air up airs that we used to have means I think this matchup is harder than it used to be in that way, but I think Wario got nerfed too, so it stays around an even matchup. Wii Fit Trainer is an even matchup. This character is actually hella underrated. I think Wii Fit Trainer is a terrifying character, but again, it's the same kind of thing as the other camping characters, where Ike is pretty good against characters who like to put themselves in the corner, because that's where he finds his early kills, right? He loves having his opponent in the corner. That being said, Wii Fit Trainer has some really good anti-airs and is a very strong character and is pretty good at edge guarding us too. Deep breathing is completely cracked, and I think the buffs to Wii Fit Trainer made this a pretty hard matchup, but it's still even. Alright, time for another hot take. Dude, we lose to Zelda. This matchup sucks. God, it sucks. I have a really good Zelda in my region, and I used to think that this matchup was even or slight winning for Ike, but what do we do? She can keep us out, and it is very, very hard to approach Zelda. I just don't know how you get in on this character. You can't jump. You can't safely approach her. She has a frame 5 dash attack that's really good for catching our landings if we try to land at a mid-range. And if we try to nair on her shield, her out-of-shield game is really, really good. And she holds space incredibly well. I think I could just have no idea what I'm doing in the matchup, but man, I've been playing it nonstop for a couple months now, and I can't figure out what the hell to do, man. So I think this is definitely a losing matchup. She also destroys our recovery off stage. I mean, we got off stage once, there's nothing we can do. And if she's really good at confirming down tilt to fair, landing nair to fair, up tilt combos, Zelda has just amazing anti-air and some really good combo tools that are very hard for Ike to deal with. as well as really good defensive tools. Wolf is probably... realistically, it's probably slight losing for Ike, but I just have never struggled in this matchup. I mean, even playing really good Wolves, I've always felt like it was winnable. I think that he has a pretty linear recovery, and his game plan just isn't as scary as like a Fox's for Ike, even though I have Fox and even. I think we have the tools to box out Wolf pretty well. And while the matchup can be very scary, we just kind of blow each other up, if I'm being honest. Wolf and Ike both just kind of explode each other, and it makes for a pretty fun even matchup. Yoshi, I think, is an even matchup. This might be considered a hot take. A lot of people think we beat Yoshi. Ew, I'm not going to use the cursed Woolly World Yoshi. They're all cursed, though. Yoshi's a cursed-ass character. I hate his design. I think that egg camping is pretty good against Ike, and I think that it's pretty hard to edge guard his double jump armor with Ike. Like, it's better. It's easier than a lot of characters because we have some strong single hits, but here's what I think about the matchup. A lot of people think, oh, Yoshi doesn't have big disjoints, he's kind of stubby, so Ike can just keep him out, right? But Yoshi has some of the best airspeed in the game. Like, literally some of the best airspeed in the game, and it makes it really, really hard for us to consistently keep him out. He also has really good kill power and incredibly good anti-airs and a really good out-of-shield game. We have to be very careful with our spacing on Yoshi's shield, or we are going to get nared and put into an awful tech chase situation. And he's hard to edge guard because he has double jump armor. He's hard to ledge trap because he has eggs to throw you off ledge. And his combo game, if he hits you once, you take 80 or die. So I just think while we do have tools that make the matchup not so bad, he has tools that make the matchup not so bad for him. So it's even. Young Link is a hard matchup, I think, but we have some tools. Young Link has amazing frame safety, really good anti-airs, really, really good projectiles. The only issue Young Link has in this matchup is that he has a lot of trouble killing us consistently. We can edge guard Young Link, we can ledge trap Young Link, we can force him to the corner and kill him early. But I think Young Link's one of the most underrated characters in the game. He just is absolutely cracked in terms of tools. His frame data is amazing. He has projectiles which give him range to match ours, and I just think it can be pretty hard. I think he's significantly better than Toon Link, and because of that, he's in -1. Already did Little Mac. Plant is like probably even or slight Ike. We beat the character, but it's definitely far from free. I just said we beat the character, so I gotta put it in +1, right? We beat the character, but it's definitely far from free. Plant has some really good anti-airs, but we can edge guard this character, we can ledge trap this character. As long as we don't jump too much and get anti-aired all the time, I think it's definitely a doable matchup. More than doable, I think we win. Joker's losing, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as a lot of Ike players think it is. I think it gets harder and harder the closer to top level play you go, right? But I think our better range and ability to kill Joker fairly consistently is really, really nice. Our ability to down air him when he has our Sin through the ledge can be really good. Joker does not have the most scary shield pressure in the world, and good shield pressure is pretty hard for Ike. But Joker doesn't really have that, and we kill him pretty consistently. Our combos work really well on him. There's something about his gravity and his weight that makes our combos work very nicely. If we hit him while he has our Sin, it goes away very quickly because of the amount of damage we have, as well as the amount of hit stun we have. So like he's left in disadvantage for a long time. He doesn't get to abuse our Sin too much. However, Arson messes us up really bad. I think we beat base Joker but lose to Arson Joker, and as a result of that, we do slightly lose the matchup. Heroes even. I would almost be inclined to say we win, but Hero does have some really good tools. It's one of those where we lose really badly if he gets good RNG. We win really hard if he gets bad RNG. And it's even as a result. You know, it's incredibly swingy. Anything could happen. some matches against Hero look completely unwinnable for us, and some of them look free. So it's really hard to say. Doesn't everyone lose to Arsene Joker? That's true. That is definitely true. We lose pretty hard to Arsene Joker, though. Banjo is slight win for us. We just kind of outrange him. His camping is really just not all that threatening because it just doesn't do that much damage. Banjo has a damage problem. He just doesn't do any. He can edgeguard Ike pretty consistently, but as long as you're careful and you don't get put into an ether situation, you should be able to beat Banjo pretty consistently. Forrest, someone did that, and the best secondary for Ike was Pikachu, obviously. How does Ike hard lose to Bowser? I explained it in... I explained it earlier on, if you want to go back in the VOD, but it'll also be up on YouTube probably tomorrow. Is Roy a good secondary option for Ike? Maybe. Roy's just really, really good and doesn't lose that many matchups, so Roy would probably be a good secondary for anyone. Ike loses to zoners and fast whiff punishing. He doesn't lose to zoners too bad. I don't think he has a problem against zoners, but they do kind of beat him, yeah. Roy covers Roy. True. The problem is I don't think Ike covers any of... Well, Ike kind of covers Pikachu, right? Pikachu and Pichu, Ike does pretty well against. So yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. Byleth is even, I think. I think this character is not that great. I think a lot of people were overrating Byleth really hard after MKLeo slapped some people up with him, but I think that was just Leo being Leo. However, Byleth does have some pretty good tools against Ike, right? Very hard to edgeguard with their up B. Very hard to... Kind of hard to ledge trap with their range. They have very good anti-airs. It's an even matchup. We both have some really strong tools against each other, and that's pretty much how it goes. Ike destroys Byleth. I don't see how. I don't think so. Terry is very slight Ike win, I think. I'm inclined to put it in even, if I'm honest. We do have really good tools to edgeguard him. Down air, down tilt, and eruption are all pretty effective against this character. But Terry is still fairly scary overall in terms of how much he can blow us up. And his Go is always terrifying. The good thing is Ike often kills him before he even gets Go, which is a huge boon in the matchup. And I think that is very relevant. Steve, okay. Ike does pretty well against Steve overall. I do think this character has a million gimmicks that we still don't know. And I think right now it looks slight losing for Ike, if anything. But we have some really good tools against Steve. We can box him out. We outrange him in neutral. It's a lot like Luigi, except we can't platform camp him. Once we learn more of the counterplay to Steve, I think Ike's going to do pretty fine. He has a big disjoint to deal with Cart. He can edgeguard Steve really well. He can keep Steve out. Again, Steve, another character who likes to go to the corner, and Ike loves it when his opponent goes to the corner. So I think his matchup is not so bad. It's hard. It's really difficult, but it's not losing, if that makes sense. There's just so many gimmicks to learn, man, and that's frustrating, but it doesn't make for a losing matchup. Oh, man. Okay, I'm tempted to put Sephiroth in slight winning because we kill him before he gets wing so often, but when he gets wing, it's really hard. I think this is an even matchup because I think we kind of poop on no wing Sephiroth. We actually edgeguard him more easily than pretty much any character in the game. Drop down Ether is actually really good against Sephiroth at catching his up B to ledge. But yeah, it's hard because like sometimes it looks really good, sometimes it looks really bad. A lot of it's just going to depend on how much you let him get wing. What am I thoughts on the Ike Ditto? I think it's really, really fun. I think the Ike Ditto is one of my favorites to play. I think it's one of the best Dittos in the game. Alright, Pyra and Mithra are probably slight losing for Ike for the same reason Chrom is. I do think that it's a lot more doable than, say, Roy. I don't think that... Like, they don't have a counter, but they do have a really oppressive neutral in the same way Roy does. They don't kill us as early. It's not as cheesy, but overall, I think their neutral is just superior to Ike's in a lot of ways, and I do think that they do have a slight advantage. Next up is Kazuya. For now, I'll put it in even, okay? I do think in the future Kazuya has the potential to beat Ike pretty badly, but Ike's big disjoint right now and ability to outspeed Kazuya means that at the moment, while the Kazuyas are still figuring things out, I think it's an even matchup, but I think at some point we are going to get bodied by this character. Alright, and I think that's everybody. Let me do a quick scan. Oh, Min Min! I forgot. How could I forget? There's a couple I missed. Let's go back. Min Min's a -2. This character is incredibly hard to fight. Neutral is very, very difficult, and if we get hit once, we lose our stock. It's not the worst matchup in the game for Ike. It's got shades of doable, but this is a matchup I'm never going to play again. I'm just going to play all Diddy in that matchup because Diddy actually beats Min Min. There's some counterplay for her, but the counterplay for Min Min requires you to take bigger... The counterplay for Min Min requires us to take risks, and she never has to take any risks, period, in the matchup. So we have to read her really, really hard. Yo, what's up, Notbay? How are you doing? Gas for Mewtwo? You think Mewtwo beats Ike? Well, we'll have to find out. Yeah, we'll have to play a first to 10 sometime soon, huh? By the way, check out Notbay's YouTube channel. He did a collab with me recently, and my collab with him will be up someday when my editor gets done with it. Ike has trouble edge guarding tethers. Yeah, he has a lot of trouble. Oh yeah, and Ryu. Ryu is slight loss for Ike. For the same reasons that we lose to Ken. However, Ryu's a lot slower and doesn't... I mean, he kills pretty dang early. Ryu's a lot slower than Ken, and as a result, we have a little bit more of a doable neutral. However, our advantage is still poop against them, and their advantage versus us is still terrifying, like absolutely horrifying. You think Diddy's a really good counterpick character for Ike? He can cover almost every match except for Young Link and Rob. I agree. Does Diddy lose to Rob, though? I thought Diddy did okay against Rob. I don't actually know. I've never played that matchup. You think Ike probably wins by a bit? Definitely a fun matchup. Both characters explode each other. That's basically what I said. Yeah, if you go back or catch this on YouTube tomorrow, what I basically said was that Mewtwo can do it, and there's no reason not to play Mewtwo in this matchup, but Ike has a slight advantage. Chat, this is your last chance to say hi, YouTube, because I'm about to do my outro, okay? Alright, guys, so this is my Ike matchup chart for 12.0. Overall, I hate to say it, man. I was resistant for a long time, but I think I got slightly nerfed in 8.0. I didn't think it was true, and I still think that he is a much more interesting character, a much more fun character to play, but I think some matchups got a lot harder. Some matchups got easier, though. Pichu got easier, you know? There's plenty of matchups that got more doable because we got more tools. But I do think we had a bit of a falling off with 8.0 in terms of how good the character is. Still really, really fun to play, though, and I think he can do just fine. As for where he is on the tier list, you guys are going to have to wait for that one because I'm going to make a tier list soon. And then you'll see where I put him because it's going to be interesting. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Twitch is totally making fun of me right now, guys, because I've gone into YouTuber solo mode. But if you want to see Twitch solo mode, go on over to twitch.tv/SoloJones and check me out there. Alright, I'll see you guys later.